Hello everyone, I am Blankera. Today we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. I think I'm finally happy with the connecting hair area. There's maybe a few areas that I could tweak, but I think it looks pretty good. And I've been having enough trouble in that area that I'm not actually sure if I'll be able to get it that much better within my skill level. So I'm going to move on to other areas, and if I decide I want to revisit it later, I will. For the time being, I'm going to go back to looking at this strand. So far, I think it's looking a lot better than it used to, but there's some parts that still just don't feel quite right to me, so I'm trying to identify what those are and what I can do to fix them. Not always easy. So I feel like a lot of the issues that I've been having around this area is just I want it to look a little bit more three-dimensional. And lately it's just been looking a little bit flat, but every time I try to make it look more three-dimensional, it looks strange when it moves. And that has been my dilemma. Because like here, actually, let me just zoom in and show it again. If you look, it kind of looks like it's more just like popping off of her head, as opposed to just turning with it. That's the best way I can describe what I'm seeing here. So it's been a bit tricky to find the right balance between having this area look like it's showing a bit more and having this area kind of curl forward a little bit more versus having it stay closer to her head and look like it's just gently draping over her bangs. And that's kind of what I'm searching for, so I'm probably going to be going back and forth quite a lot. Just trying things and seeing what I can figure out. So I am definitely not satisfied yet. So the only thing I can do in those circumstances is try to find some new things to try out. And then I also wonder various things like, do I want it to be on top of the bangs here? You know, the connecting hair? Or do I want it to appear to go behind them? It's like here, this one is on top. And I don't want to mess with, like, the explicit draw order or anything. This would strictly be just moving it into place, where it looks more like it's on top. Or behind, I guess I should say. Right now it looks like it's on top. And I could potentially move it to where it looks like it's going behind. And so those are the kinds of decisions that I'm trying to make right now. I'm not quite sure what it is that's making this area just not look very good to me. Like, I do feel like I fixed part of it by making the shadows here a little bit better, but for whatever reason, when I look at it, I'm still just not quite happy. It's alright. I'll just keep trying until I get it right. And it might take a little while, but I do think that I am at least making some progress. And right now I'm just trying to determine the exact location of the highlight here, and this tiny little pink highlight, the shadow right above it. And that entire line. Because right now I feel like this highlight here is sliding up a little bit. I'm trying to find a good home for him. Where he won't constantly feel like he's just squirming around. Okay, I do think that's a little bit better. Let me see if I can adjust the underneath area here. This one? Yeah. Probably don't want the brush to be quite that big. I'm gonna do some more experiments with showing a little bit more shadow here. See if that makes it look slidey or if it makes it look good. Here I actually think it makes it look good. And then I can adjust the top part a little bit to make it more like it's gently draping over her bangs here. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'll take it. Okay, yeah, I think that's better. Still just need to go all the way down and figure out all the other parts too. Don't want to leave anything out. Everything should look as good as it can. I'm just gonna make some minor adjustments down here. I think down here is mostly looking good though. I'm just noticing a couple of areas that I wanted to make a little bit better there. Just, you can see the hair curves like this. I'm just kind of trying to follow the same kind of curve. Like it's gonna change a little bit just because her head is turning, but it does kind of feel like it's, I don't know, moving back inward around here. And I was feeling that in a couple of other places there, but I've already fixed those spots, so let's try to get this one now. Just try to get all these curves nice. His hair should be nice and floofy and soft looking. It makes everything better. I'm going to ignore that little bit of this strand poking its way through while I try to get this curve right. Looks like it might take a little bit, so I'll go ahead and tuck this in. Looking forward to finally dealing with that strand too, the one in the back. I feel like I've been neglecting it and just pushing it out of the way. And honestly, that just doesn't seem very nice, you know? It'll be nice to actually be able to get that strand to where it needs to go to. Stop neglecting it so hard. Just can only do one thing at a time, but his time is coming. And soon, that strand will have a home of its own as well. Okay. Good. When I decided that I wanted to work on this strand again this morning, I was worried that it would give me a lot of trouble, again. But it seems like it's cooperating with me. I'm not sure if that's because I'm feeling a bit more energetic today, or if I just happened to stumble across the secret that I've been looking for. But either way, I'll take it. It's nice when it works out. Maybe this means drawing will work out better for me after stream today. Been trying very hard to get myself out of my slump, and I'm getting there, I think. Regardless, it's nice to know that even if I'm not feeling my best, I can still do stuff like this, and I can still stream every day without too much trouble. Even if I'm just here talking to myself, I do have a good time overall. It's given me new perspective and my own way of thinking and my own process. Just because having to vocalize things has clarified some things in my brain. I should have known better than to doubt the power of language and the power that turning your thoughts into words can provide. But I did. And actually seeing it in action is pretty special. So if you ever find yourself stuck, just talk to yourself. Not like in your head, but with your voice. Maybe something will make sense. Or maybe it won't. There's no guarantee, but it's worth a try. After all, sometimes in order to get something to work, you just gotta try. Do your best. I do think that this strand is pretty close to being done. I'm just kind of touching up a few areas that I don't like quite as much. And then maybe I can finally get this little squirmer. I'm feeling good enough today to try to tackle that. And I don't think that the last little bit of working on this strand is gonna drag me down, so... finally find a good place for that little guy too. Although, man, working on all this is reminding me that I haven't finished collecting all the Eternal Nightmare rewards from Path to Nowhere. I should probably do a few more runs at some point. I've been a bit lazy. I like a lot of the ideas behind the roguelike mode, but the execution just didn't quite hit for me. And I do find that most of my runs are extremely samey, and I can just kind of run through on autopilot even at fairly high chaos level. By that, I don't take everything, but I can pretty effortlessly get up to about 100%. And to an extent, I do think that is kind of a problem, and I don't think it's going to be something that can be solved with the release of more Sinners or anything. I think it's just a kind of fundamental problem with the design. Maybe gives you a little bit too much freedom of choice and not quite enough adapting to circumstances. So I actually play a fair amount of roguelikes. I've been wanting to play Slay the Spire again. Just haven't really had the time or energy to do so. But when I compare Slay the Spire to something like this, like, the game is a bit different, because Slay the Spire is a card game, but some of the elements I think are fairly similar, where in there, instead of making a team, you're just trying to make a deck that can handle all the I guess obstacles, all the challenges that you know will eventually be coming. Like, you have to know that... I think this is true of pretty much any roguelike, but I'll just use Slay the Spire and Path to Nowhere's Eternal Nightmare mode for my points of comparison here, where to get through randomly generated dungeons like this, and randomly generated content like this, you have to have some idea of the challenges that the game is going to throw at you, and the kinds of tools that are needed to clear those challenges. So in Slay the Spire, there's differences between hallway fights and elite fights, and then there's the boss, of course. And so you have to know what kind of things are going to be good for the specific types of fights that you're going to get into, and all of that kind of thing. I'm not sure if I'm describing this well, but... And when it comes to Path to Nowhere's Eternal Nightmare mode, I never really felt like the challenges required different tools. Like, I generally just grab a reticle team, grab as many fool artifacts as I can, and I can steamroll just about anything. I don't have to really give it much thought. I suspect that it could also be the same with Umbra as well. And just some of the super high mobility and high damage that can come from, I guess mostly Mantis in particular. But, yeah, I just stick with the reticle team because it's very AFK and lazy. So I never particularly feel like I have to try that hard in order to get everything. And I can generally use the same team every time. And the setup of the stages means that as long as I have even just a little bit of core break, like if I get Shalom, like all of my problems are solved. For core break and all that kind of thing. And then if I want to be really, really lazy, I just grab Oak and turn on her exclusive crime band and just take a nap. And that's kind of how I feel about it sometimes. Where I just don't feel like there's enough challenges that require different tools that I can't just solve it with pretty much whatever I happen to feel like doing. Like, I know a lot of people recommend Irene for Bombard, but I'm like, man, I have to like hit 2 buttons for that, and that's work. So that kind of is what stops me from really being able to enjoy it too much. It's not so much that it's easy, it's that, what's the word I'd use to describe what I'm feeling? Not so much that it's easy, it's that there's no real variety. And it's not variety of random encounters or anything like that. It's variety in challenges. I just feel like everybody can handle everything, and so there's no real need to think too hard about the kind of team that you need to clear each stage. And I know that part of that was probably intentional to an extent, because they want people to be able to take their waifu and have a good time, but it doesn't really lend itself to a very interesting strategic game mode. It just kind of feels I don't know, kind of bleh there, because, like, I don't have to really think about what relics I take. Or I just grab whatever fool ones I see, if there's no fool ones. Maybe I'll read the description, or maybe I'll just grab Emperor. Because I've had pretty good luck with the Emperor relics as well. Even though I don't take Fury Sinners. Just all radical all the time. But, yeah, so that's pretty much my disappointment there. I have appreciated some of the stuff that they've tried to add, but I just don't think it's going to be a problem that they'll be able to fix for me unless they require more balanced teams and have specific problems that can only be solved with, you know, certain groupings of sinners. Like, I would not take a reticle-only team to fight most of the stages in the main story. And so, some of those stages are more interesting to me. Because they require a certain degree of, you know, damage absorption, DPS, certain amounts of more flexible core break that you might take, like Labyrinth or something too, and that kind of thing. And unfortunately, a lot of their base design didn't really lend itself well to proper strategy. Which is why I've said that I didn't really like the direction that the game has taken since then. Because I feel like, and I'm not surprised that I don't, because I feel like they might have used up all their good ideas, like, right at the beginning, and then they're like, oh shoot, we actually have to keep updating this. What do we do? I know. Let's add mini-games. We'll add mini-games and, the occasional gimmick. So, a bit unfortunate for me, but... Oh yes, mini-games, and then, how much damage can you do to the boss in this amount of time? Just 100% damage optimization. Which, not something I'm super into. But man, the writing still has me hooked. So, I want to know what happens next. So I'll keep playing. That said, some of the gimmicks that they've added to certain stages I think have been pretty interesting. Let me collect my thoughts for a moment. I do like the items that you get in stages sometimes. Like, half the time I don't use them because they're in events where they want newer players to be able to complete it too, and my team is horrendously overpowered or that kind of thing. But when I am able to use them, they do seem like they could add some interesting strategic variety. I'm just thinking of, like, the items in, I think it was chapter 12, or is it 11? Well, one of those, where you could block off certain tiles, or the big flamethrowers to help you deal with some of the beefy enemies, and that kind of thing. I thought those were cool. And they show up at events fairly frequently, and I think that's a good way to potentially make more challenging content while still making it approachable to newer players. 'Cause then you have people like me that are too lazy to read, and so I just kind of brute force my way through. But for the people that actually are inclined to try, they will have an easier time. Honestly, with as many Arknights content creators as I watch, I've been thinking about finding some for Path to Nowhere as well, just to see what kind of things people are doing out there. What kind of interesting teams are out there. I've been trying to upgrade some of the more meta team comps just so that this way maybe someday I will stop ignoring the broken front line. But and maybe have an easier time getting the necessary scores for that, but otherwise I do think it'd be interesting to see what people are doing. It's unlike a lot of gacha games. Path to Nowhere is very much a game. It's maybe taken a direction that is not my taste, but it is definitely a game. Oh, I am kind of curious to see how people play it. I might look into that sometime. Alright, I think I solved that squirmer while I was trying to put my thoughts together about Path to Nowhere mechanics. Heck yeah. I'll take it. It's pretty hard to put my thoughts together and all that while I was trying to figure out where everything should go, but I did my best. And I'm always happy to answer any questions about game design philosophies or what I think about any particular mechanic in the game. I still need to try out some of my various synergies, because most of the time I'm pretty lazy and I just take a bunch of lazy options and ones that I think are pretty. Whenever I go out to go beat stages. This is why Casket ends up on my team so much, because she's just so lazy. It's wonderful. And I also think she's pretty, so best of both worlds. I recently finished putting together my weak spot team. I might put some more skill levels into Bianca, but right now she's just sitting all at 7. I forget if I leveled up her ultimate or not. Beyond 7, that is. Well, that's probably fine for now. I'll try him out at some point. And for the moment, I'm trying to raise Lamia. It's like I've had Luvia raised forever, so I figure I might as well raise Lamia too, so they can, I don't know, go do things together when I need magic damage. I always seem to have more trouble with the magic damage bosses. I'm not sure if it's because I can't just throw Darren at them and win, but or if there's just something about it, but something else going on there, but I'm not sure. I've been pretty lazy with trying to figure out broken frontline stuff. Pretty lazy indeed. It's like it wasn't so bad when I was just doing high risk area, but once I got into the dark zone, I'm just like, oh my god, this is too much work to do every week. So I've been largely just not. I'm missing out on a ton of crystals because of that, but it's fine. I haven't been raising skills too much anyway, so it's totally fine. I mostly just want to figure out how to play the game a little bit more, because I think it's kind of a shame that I haven't really tried that hard. I just haven't really had a chance. I haven't had much time for proper gaming recently. been just digging into art-related stuff more often. Figuring out how to stream, how to make VTuber models and all that stuff. And just trying to figure out how to improve my art, make it even shinier than it is right now. I just want everything to be the best it can be. And it does not leave very much time for gaming. Then I have 2 kids. So. They like lots and lots of attention. And so they take a lot of time too. I don't mind too much, mind you. They're both great. I love them. But they do prevent me from playing some of the games that I've been interested in. And once again, I lament that I have to sleep for 8 hours a day. It's like, man, just imagine what I could do with an additional 8 hours every day. It'd be pretty great, honestly. I'd get so much more done. Instead of just being in bed unconscious. It's the worst. Being organic is the worst. This is where I hope that someday we can just, like, I don't know, put our brains in a robot and get rid of a lot of the limitations that comes with being human. I don't want to be organic, man. Being organic has too many downsides. So, I will hope that day comes. In the meantime, I'm just gonna straighten out this hair. It was just looking a little bit wrinkly there. But it does look like I've mostly gotten this strand wrangled into place. That makes me happy. It's shifting upward. I'll just pull it down. Oh, that was probably too much, but let's take a look. Oh no, that was about right. Cool. Now I just need to get the bottom of this loop in a good spot. It's not quite where it wants to be right now. So I'll just gently push him the bottom a little bit further upward. The top was in a good spot, but the bottom, it got pulled down a little bit too hard. It's alright. I can help him out. Get him back up. I see some stuff over here that's just not shifting quite right. So let's pull all that down. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then the other thing that I've been trying to figure out is getting all of this light and shadow here looking a little bit better. Right now, I don't know, it looks a bit strange in motion. I've been poking at that a little bit. Actually, don't really mind the idea of the light side showing a little bit stronger than the dark side. It's like her head is turning toward the direction of that dark side, so maybe it makes sense for the light side to be a little bit more prominent here. Show that the hair is turning a bit more. I could also see an argument for just pulling this entire strand way far to the left, but I think I like it like this. So I think I'll keep it like this. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I actually kind of like the way this area is turning down here. Just the strong little curve there, just being straightened out. Make it look like the curve is going further into the back. Which I think makes sense with this kind of turn. And makes sense with how far these other strands are going further into the back. Alright. So now I just want to look at the strand in the very back. I think it's fine to have it hidden at this angle. That makes total sense. So, what I need to figure out is, do I like the way it is moving? My foot's just falling asleep, so I'm trying to adjust myself here. There we go. It's like having it go back makes sense. Do I like the way it does that? I think I probably want to adjust it a little bit. Just a little. I think by... like, I can't see any of it right now, but I think by curling this like this... Did I hide a layer on accident? I did. Okay. Sudden bald spot right there. I was worried that I did something, but nope, we're good. Anyway, like I was saying, I think by curling that strand a little bit, it'll make the path to going behind the head a little bit less, I don't know, weird looking. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that strand. I'm not going to make that decision until I put the back hair back on. Okay. Now then, do I like the top? The top is the only part that has anything showing. It's like... it's close. It's probably like 95% correct. Just kind of want to pull the top of this strand kind of where it points, comes to a point. I'm going to pull him a little bit more to the right, but otherwise I think it's okay. Yeah, there we go. That should be good. Alright, getting there. So, now I can do the right side here. And I remember that last time I was working on this strand here, so let's go ahead and finish that. We'll go do that part next. Side bang time. Okay. So it's like I remember that I had mostly finished the strand, but I'm gonna go ahead and do some intense staring all the way throughout it, just to make sure that I got everything really good before I start moving on to the strand. Because if everything closer to the top looks really good, then that means that I can have an easier time figuring out the bottom. And indeed, the top looks good. The first area that I saw problems with is all the way down here. So that's a good sign. Very good sign indeed. Be nice if I could smooth this out a little bit, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Let's try. Yeah, I think that's just gonna have to be the way it is, but... let's just poke at it a little bit more. I guess that's a little bit better. Kinda made that highlight a little bit straighter. It's okay, this is why I try things. Just try to smooth things out just a little bit. Make it a little bit nicer. Okay, that should be fine. I'll just fix up all the shifting that I see. There's not very much of it, fortunately. This strand is actually looking quite good. So hopefully I won't have that much more to do. The joy of working on things when it's a little bit easier than some of the other stuff that you're working on. So while stuff over there was hard, rather than stop, I just worked over here for a bit. Worked on something that was a little bit easier that my brain could understand. And this is where that progress is starting to show itself, and I'm starting to catch up a bit. So I already have a lot of this done. So there's a bit less to do. Feels good. Definitely better than having to have the whole thing to do right now. So here I'm just noticing a bit of shifting in like the lines and some of the highlights and stuff, but mostly the lines. So I'm just trying to fix those up before I do too much more. Because I think it'll give me a good clue as to where the vertices themselves should be. And it'll make some of this other stuff a little bit easier on me. I can get good curls and that kind of thing. You can see that I need to pull this out a little bit more. Fill in some of those gaps that I need filled in. Kind of amazing how much I've been able to stretch that layer and not have it look like absolutely terrible, so that's pretty cool. I've heard that the new version, or I guess I should say the next version of Inochi2D will make some of this stuff look even better than it already does, and I don't even think it looks that bad. So looking forward to that. I try to lurk in the Discord and follow the news. Someday I'd like to do a little bit more than lurk, but talking to people is scary. See, this is why I don't mind not having people come in and chat. I don't mind just talking to myself. If you ever lurk and feel bad about not saying anything, don't worry about it. It's okay. Just knowing that there are some people that are interested in what I have to say and watching me do what I do is enough. I don't mind if you just want to watch. Totally fine. I appreciate lurkers. I understand completely. Alright, so here I'm just gonna kind of straighten some stuff out. There are a couple areas that I felt like were just, I don't know, sliding a little bit in ways that didn't look very good. I'm just gonna take them back in. Just very gentle movements here. Don't need to do anything too drastic. Everything already looks pretty good. Just kind of going into the final stretch. Here, I definitely curved the bang a little bit too much. Not surprising, because I do like making hair really curvy. But there's actually a pretty strong straight line right through here. So I'm trying to recapture that straight line. You can see here, right through here is like very straight. Whereas in my version over here, I had it more curved. So I'm just straightening it out a bit. Just a bit, though. I think it can handle a little bit of curl. Since her head is moving. Or at least I want to make it look that way. Alright, I have to do something. Just because it is bothering me a little bit, but the neck shadow is not properly clipped to the neck. So let me find that layer. Here it is. You need to be masked to this. Okay. Back to what I was doing. It was just a little distracting every time that I did something over here and suddenly the shadow was in weird places. Anyway, what was I doing? Right. Fixing up the hair over here. Because over here, the side of this strand is actually quite straight. And I kind of want to bring that straightness back in. I made it a little bit too curved. So my love of those curves. But I do want to imitate the original artist's style to an extent. She uses a lot more straights than I do. Or at the very least, in different places. I do use a fair amount of straight lines. I just tend to do it in places like the hand, or I don't know, when I want certain pieces to have a certain kind of energy. That's the best way I can describe it. Because curves are very soft and gentle, and straights tend to be much harder. And I wouldn't say that the straights in her hair here are super hard or anything. Like, her hair is still very flowy and has plenty of curves. Just more than I'm used to. I'm glad that I meshed it like this to give me some amount of control over the shadows here. I think I want them to be just a little bit smaller. I think they were getting a little bit big. So hopefully with them pushed in a little bit, it'll look a little bit better. Yeah, I think so. Just want to push in that tip a little bit. Yeah. And then right through here, I think it's supposed to be a little bit thinner. Kinda squirming around here a little bit. You don't want your vertices to be squirmy. They need to be very content and very comfortable. No one squirms when they're content and comfortable. Alright. Any better? A little. But I think I can do even better. There's just some fine adjustments that need to be made around the tip here. Everything else is looking like super great, so I'm quite happy. So hopefully I can get these last little areas looking just as good. There's just something about this curve right in this area that I'm not quite sure about. I'm just here trying to feel my way through it, figure it out. And as I keep going back and forth, I just learn something new about this whole area, so I think it's working out. I think it's working out just fine. It'll probably just take me a little while to finish feeling my way through it all. Something like that. Yeah, that's a bit better. And I still think right through here is a bit too thick. I'll try to squish things back down a little bit more. And then I'll fill in this gap. Well, I'm not sure if that's a gap. It might literally just be the body. Okay, no, it is a gap. It is a gap. So I'll have to fill that in. That's really no trouble though, so let me see how much I'll have to fill in once I get this curve looking the way I want. Kinda wanna take care of it now. Just so that this way that little gap doesn't look weird while I'm trying to look at the rest of the hair. Alright, there we go. How we doing, little tip? You feel better now? I think so. I think that's looking much better. Just got a couple of spots that I want to adjust around the not the highlight, the shadow around here. It's a bit easier said than done. Just because this is where it only gets thin enough that I couldn't put a row of vertices around the shadow specifically. That's probably why I've been finding it harder to adjust it. But it's okay, I'll get it. I will get it. Keep trying until it's right. No problem at all. No problem at all. All right. So let's see here. Need to make it follow the angle of this curve a little bit better, I think. There we go. That should... Nope, got a lump. Got a little lump. Gotta work that out. Don't want to have lumpy hair. Alright, so how's this? Okay, right idea. Just needs the right execution now. So I'm gonna take a little brush, a little teeny tiny one, and a little bit bigger than that. Maybe like here. And just pull this entire area down just a little. Get that curve going in the right direction. Have more areas that I need to fill in with that back area. I don't think it'll be a problem, though. Okay. Again, right idea. Now it's just time to get the execution down. Just get this curve very nice. Because it is just this curve now. And once I figure out this curve on the strand, it should look really good. There we go. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Still got a few areas that I need to clean up, but I think everything is roughly in the right place. I think I still want to work on this curve a little bit more before I do that. Just a little. And then I might as well straighten out the other areas that I was looking at there. While I'm down here. Just get this, the very, very tip to curve nicely too. If there's gonna be curves, you better make them nice. Yeah, still just a little bit more right at the base here. This needs to come down, and this needs to come down. Just being particular here. Where hair tapers off is kind of important in my opinion. That's one of the things that helps it look really soft. Just the nature of the taper. I think that's pretty good. We'll see what the me of tomorrow thinks, but the me of right now is pretty satisfied. Man, I think I might actually be able to turn on some of the strands and stuff soon. Before I do that, there's a couple of things right around here that's not quite right. It's mostly around the dark area, but a little bit around the highlight too. Some of it I think is unavoidable and frankly doesn't look bad. But there's a couple of areas that I think I can make look a little bit better. And because I think I can, I think I should. I probably won't be working that much longer today anyway, so might as well just fix these last couple of things that I don't really like around here. Some of these tiny little details. Yeah, it looks like I just didn't follow the strand all the way to the bottom. It does make sense. I was probably just focusing on the top. Start at the top and work my way down. The usual way I do things here. So now I just need to finish working my way all the way down. Get everything looking nice. Get everything looking nice and feeling happy. Alright, I'm not sure what it is about this highlight area that just I can never get looking right. But for whatever reason, the way this highlight moves, just... I don't know, man. Just doesn't want to move right. I don't know why it's so sad. It's like, you can tell me what's wrong, little highlight. I'll find you a better spot. Well, okay. That seems a lot better already, so I'll take it. See, like I said, just gotta tell me what's going on, and I'll figure it out. I can find better spots for each and every one of you. It'll be okay. Why did I mesh it like this? Whatever. It's probably fine. Okay. Maybe not 100% ideal, but it's like 99% ideal, so I'll take it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So now the only thing left is up here. Let's take a quick look at that today, and we'll see if I want to do that today, or if I just want to save it for tomorrow. We're approaching the end of the hour, so I might just save it for tomorrow. But there are a couple of quick, easy things I can do that I do think I will just do real quick. Just a little bit of sliding. And with a couple of these small things out of the way, maybe I'll be able to figure out the big things more easily tomorrow. Or maybe there's only a few small things left. And the me of tomorrow will just say, "Oh, I didn't think I finished that. Nice." That sounds like something I'd say. So I'm mostly focused on some of the minor shifting that I'm seeing here. Kind of hoping that once I get that out of the way, the rest of the details will make themselves clear to future me. The me of tomorrow that will be taking a look at this. But with as smoothly as everything went today, it looks like I might actually be able to start the back hair tomorrow. And maybe even the strands if it goes well. Because the back hair is pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. It's mostly covered up and just has a few small details that needs to be adjusted, and everything tends to work itself out. This one. There we go. Just lost the layer for a second there. Happens all the time. But honestly, it doesn't look like there's too many problems here, so I honestly might just go a little bit longer and just finish it up. Because this already looks pretty close to completed to me. Oh man, that would be pretty nice. With just being able to get this last little bit done and add some more hair tomorrow. That does sound pretty wonderful. Life is good when art actually cooperates with me. So, I appreciate I appreciate this model for wanting to work with me today. Some days are always better than others, but today was a pretty good one. I think that's why I'm able to do this last little bit. And it helps that it's honestly pretty simple to do. My past self already got this one mostly right. So there's just a few touch-ups to do. And once I do those... oh man, I'll be able to, you know, do the back hair and the various strands, and... I might actually have the left and right head turns done this week. Oh, that's also very exciting. I feel like I've been working on them forever. So I'm still very slow when it comes to this stuff. I'm pretty slow when it comes to art in general, but like I've gotten faster as I've improved, but I'm still fairly new when it comes to rigging. So I still work pretty slowly. It's okay. Even if I work slowly, I don't give up, so I'll finish it eventually. See, this is exactly why I told myself that I wasn't going to do any special foot movement or anything. Because I knew that I'd be spending forever doing this already. And I'm like, let's not try to learn too many new things at once. Let's just do one thing at a time. It'll be okay. This art is pretty detailed. And I already knew that that would make life hard on me. The perfectionism is strong. Alright, had to be quiet there for a second because I wanted to do a very, very precise movement. Talking about doing very precise movements like that is hard. But I think that looks pretty good. Let's zoom out all the way. How are we doing? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Cool. Just for fun, I'm gonna turn this on. And it doesn't even look that bad. A little bit funny over here, but not too terrible. I probably won't have that much to really fix up. Alright. Well, that'll set us up for tomorrow. But for today, I think this is where I'll be stopping. So thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on Twitter or Instagram and I'll take a look and maybe leave some comments. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.